Yo, what's really good, my people? Kiwami Games here, back at it with another video for you guys. And today, ladies and gentlemen, we are showing zombies some love. But this time we're playing a different zombie archetype, and we're playing none other than Mayakashi. So Mayakashi, what are they trying to do? If you're new to Mayakashi, pretty much they're just trying to cycle through all of their synchro monsters, and then they're gonna go into their link monsters all the way to Yukiona, so that on our opponent's turn we're gonna be able to bring back one of these synchro monsters, and that's gonna create an interruption for our opponent. Another win condition that this deck have is the trap card. So this card right here, when it resolves, neither player can special summon monsters from the hand, deck, or extra deck. So this card alone right here sometimes can win you games if it resolves. And another win condition that the deck has is that we can welcome the MAXX challenge, because you can special summon out the wazoo with this deck. So if your opponent hits you with the MAXX, you can be a mad lad and take the MAXX challenge, and there's a good chance that you can pretty much deck them out. And you'll see in some of the replays here where I do deck my opponent out, and also where I do take the MAXX challenge and I still end up winning. So yeah, this is just something for fun. In terms of power level and stuff like that, I don't think Mayakashis are quite there. I mean, I've seen some people make it to Master 1 with it, but honestly, I don't believe that they got to Master 1 solely playing Mayakashi. But in any case, you know, I just wanted to show zombies some love, and I wanted to experiment. I built this deck such a long time ago, and I realized that, you know, I've never played it. I never made a video on it, and I decided to do kind of like a spring cleaning, if you will. So I was just going through a bunch of like decks and stuff that I have, and I realized this was one of the decks that, like, yo, how come I never played this deck, and I made it. So without further ado, let's just jump into some Mayakashi action. And as always, my people, if you enjoyed today's video, then why not consider dropping a like and subscribing to the channel. I'm almost at 1,000 subscribers. I just realized that I need maybe like 60 more. So if you can help me get to that big 1,000, I will greatly appreciate it. So thank you all so much for your continued support. So let's just jump right into this replays. Alright, my people, so in our first replay we are going to go up against the almighty Kashtira, and I wanted to show you, because just as you can see, my opponent is going to shotgun the MAXX right away. So I'm going to show you how well the deck can perform under MAXX. So we're going to be a mad lad, and we're going to take the MAXX challenge. So we're going to activate Mayakashi return, getting our starter. So Hajun is always going to be like your starter. So you're going to normal summon Hajun, and Hajun is going to special summon the Daki. And then this card right here is just going to revive herself all the time. As every time that you synchro or you link climb into one of your Mayakashi monsters, this card right here is just always going to come back. Alright, so without further ado, I'm going to fast forward this a little bit, because I'm just going to synchro climb, and then I'm just going to link climb. So just to make the video not too long, let's just speed right through this. Alright, so as you can see, every time that you synchro summon, the Daki comes back, and that's just going to allow you to continue synchro climbing. Alright, and then now once you're finished with your level 11 synchro monster, then you can go into your link monsters. Okay, so we go to the level 2, then we're going to go into the link 3, and then when you make the link 3, you're going to link back down to the level 2, because you want to get the link 3 monster, both of them, into the graveyard, because she can activate during your opponent's turn, where she can banish herself from the graveyard, and then you can special summon a Mayakashi synchro monster from your graveyard. So you want to have both of them on the graveyard. Alright, so now since my opponent hit me with the MAXX, I am now going to bring back one of the synchro monsters, so that I can continue synchro climbing once again, just so that I can continue trying to deck him out as much as I can. Alright, we're going to activate Small World. He's got the Ash Blossom, so right now he only has 7 cards in his hands. I'm going to activate Triple Attack Stallion. He's going to hit me with the Draw and Lockbird, but whatever. But now we got our trap card. So right off the bat, I'm going to shotgun the trap card. So now he cannot special summon monsters from the hand, deck, or extra deck. Alright, then I'm going to hit him with my own MAXX, but he's got the Call by the Grave. gonna activate his field spell. He's gonna normal summon the Fenrir, so he can, because of the birth allows him to normal summon a level 7 monster without tributing, so that's why he's able to get the Fenrir. So now I'm going to activate the Icicle Mayakashi so I can banish her from the graveyard, and then I can special summon one of my synchro monsters. Okay, he's going to hit me with the other Call by the Grave, but it's all good because the Icicle Mayakashi doesn't target, so he doesn't know what I'm going to bring back. Okay, so we're going to bring back the level 5, and the reason why I bring back the level 5 is because when this card is special summoned, then both players can send the top 3 cards of their deck to the graveyard. So I was just trying to proceed to deck him out even more. And then because a monster was special summoned from the graveyard, or also because an effect was activated in the graveyard, that's going to trigger the Yuki owner. So now the Yuki owner can target his Fenrir, and she's going to be able to negate him and then change his attack all the way to 0. Alright, but unfortunately for us, he has the Ash Blossom, so we're not going to be able to make him mill 3 cards. Alright, but now the Yuki owner is going to negate the Fenrir, so the Fenrir cannot banish me, and it gets reduced to 0. And then he stays like that forever. And then now my opponent has to send a whole bunch of cards to the graveyard. Okay, he's going to activate his preparation. He's going to special summon the Unicorn. I got the Harpy's Feather Duster, so I'm going to get rid of all of that. He's going to special summon the Kashtira, Scareclaw Kashtira. I'm going to hit him with the MAXX. Alright, so we draw 1. Harpy's Feather Duster, get rid of all of that. Alright, he's going to try to activate the Fenrir, but the Fenrir is still negated. Alright, he's going to activate the Unicorn, but at this point I really don't care because I have already most of my monsters in the graveyard. So no need to negate the Unicorn. And now the Trap card has another effect that you can banish the Trap card, and then you can put back one of your banished zombie monsters back into the graveyard. So I'm going to bring back my level 3 Yuki owner. And then now I can activate her once again, and now I can special summon one of my one of my Mayakashi synchro monsters, and I go for Yoko. So Yoko, when he or she is special summoned, she's gonna be able to pop a card on the field, and then that's also gonna trigger my Yuki owner, and then that's also gonna trigger the opponent to quit. So I just wanted to show this specific duel just so you can see how crazy you can be in taking the MAXX challenge against Kashtira, which is not a deck that you should be taking lightly, and you can still come on top. Alright, my people, so in this replay we are going to go up against Labrynth. Okay, we're going to go first, and our hand is pretty okay. We got Mayakashi return, which is going to get us our starter. He's going to hit me with the Ash Blossom, but we got the cross out designate, so we're going to negate that Ash Blossom. I know spring is approaching, but it's not here yet, so you got to slow down with the Ash. Alright, so we get Hajun. Okay, so normal summon Hajun. Hajun's going to special summon the Daki. He's going to hit me with the Gamma, so I'm going to activate the MAXX. And then here my opponent makes the big mistake where he activates his second Gamma. So now, because he cannot he cannot have like 2 Gammas on the field, so he's only going to be able to now negate the MAXX, but he's not going to be able to negate the other card. Okay, so now only the MAXX gets negated, but my Hajun still goes through. So I can special summon the Daki, and now I can proceed into synchro climbing. Okay, when you synchro climb, you're gonna start, with your level 3, and then when Daki comes back, because Daki is a level 2, so then you're gonna go from the level 3 to the level 5, and then from the level 5 to the level 7, and from the level 7 to the level 9, and from the level 9 to the level 11. And then once you get to the level 11, then you're gonna go into your link monsters. Alright, so let's just fast forward this a little bit. So here we got our level 7. Okay, so now we're gonna go into our level 9 Yoko. That's a really sick ass animation too, I like that. Alright, and then we're gonna go into our level 11. Alright, and then now we can go into our link monsters. So we're gonna start with the link 2. Alright, and then we're gonna go into our link 3. And And then from our link 3, we're gonna go back down into our link 2. Alright, and then the reason why you go back to the link 2 is because you want to make 2 link 3s. And if you have 3 copies of the link 3 one, then you'll make 3 of them, because you really want to have this card right here in your graveyard. Because this card right here is going to activate herself in the graveyard so that you can special summon one of your zombie synchro monsters. So you want to have both of them in your graveyard. So that's why we go from the level 2 to the level 3, and then back to the level 2 and back into the level 3. And then now we can get the big boss girl out here, Yuki Onna, the absolute Mayakashi. Alright, then we're going to set Infinite Impermanence, and that's all we wrote. Okay, he's going to get the big Welcome Labrynth. Alright, so we know he has the Gamma in his hand and a big Welcome Labrynth set. He's got Pot of Extravagance. Okay, so now he's going to draw 2. He's going to get the Ariana. I'm going to hit him with the Infinite Impermanence. That's going to trigger the big Welcome so that he can put back the Ariana. Alright, and then now I'm going to activate my Icicle Mayakashi. And this is something that you have to keep in mind when you're playing this deck though. You really have to know when to time the Icicle Mayakashi. Like, you really need to time everything perfectly. And the reason why I activate the Icicle Mayakashi now is because since he activated the big Welcome, then I know he's either going to summon the Lovely or the Lady. And whenever the Lovely and the Lady hits the field, that's going to trigger my Yuki Onna to respond. So I'm going to be able to negate whatever he special summoned. Alright, so he goes for the Lovely. Okay, so he puts back the Ariana so that she can dash the Infinite Impermanence. So he's going to search for the Lady. So now my Yoko is going to trigger, and then also my Yuki Onna is going to trigger. Okay, so first my Yuki Onna is going to negate the Lovely. And then he's going to make another mistake where he's going to special summon the Lady. So now I'm going to be able to pop the Lady and negate the Lovely. And then this is what I mean, like, if I wouldn't have timed this Yuki Onna effect, you know, perfectly, then I would have missed out on doing all of this right here. So I negated the Lovely in forever, and then I popped the Lady. So we kind of neuter his play in a sense, and then he knows it, so he's gonna scoop. So that's the one thing that you have to keep in mind though with playing this deck. You really need to time everything perfectly. So you have to have like a good awareness of your opponent's deck so that you can know exactly when it's the best time for you to try to interrupt them. But yeah, let's keep it moving. Alright my people, so in this replay we are going to see how you can easily deck out your opponent whenever you have the right cards in your hand and in your graveyard. So we're going to go second, and our opponent is on Eldritch. And sad to say, I don't know how you guys feel, but Eldritch was the only zombie archetype that I really despised. I never really liked playing it. I never made a Eldritch deck. I just found like it was just boring and lame. Just running a whole bunch of, you know, floodgates. It's just never been my thing. But not to throw any shade out there if you're an Eldritch player, whatever, you know, do you. It was just never my thing. As a zombie enjoyer, like, Eldritch was just never the archetype that I enjoyed playing. But anyway, so he's gonna set up his back rows. Alright, our hand is pretty good. We got our starter, we have our extender, we got our also searcher, and then we also have Small World, which is also another searcher. So this hand is not that bad. And then we draw into our trap card. Okay, so we're gonna activate Mayakashi Return just to see if we can bait out any negates. Okay, my opponent doesn't respond, so we're going to normal summon Haju. He's going to hit me with the MAXX, and this is going to be his demise right here. Okay, so we're going to special summon the Daki. And then now, because we control a Mayakashi monster, the Yuki Musane can special summon itself. And then upon special summoning, she can send a zombie monster to the graveyard. So we're going to send the Mizuki to the graveyard. And then we're now going to proceed into going into our synchro climb. Alright, so let's fast forward this a little bit because we're just going to synchro climb as high as we can. Just using the Daki. Okay, he's going to activate the Conquistador and the Elixir, getting himself his Eldritch, and then the Conquistador is going to pop my level 5. but that's going to trigger my level 3 synchro monster, which has an effect that if a synchro monster you control that's a level 5 is destroyed by battle or whatever, then this card can special summon itself onto the field. So that's exactly what we're gonna do. Okay, so we banish the Haju and then we can special summon the level 3, and it's like we start all over again. So we start with our synchro climbing once again. Alright, and then he's going to try to negate the Daki, but it's all good. So we got Mizuki, banish the Mizuki, so we can special summon the Daki, and we can continue like nothing ever happened. Alright, so now we go to a level 9. Now we're going to go to our level 11. And then now with the Daki, we're going to now go into our synchro monsters. Into our link monsters. Okay, so we start with the level 2, and then the level 2, we're going to go into the level 3. And then from the level 3, we're going to go back to the level 2. Alright, and then we're going to make the level 3 once again. And then now with the level 3 and the Daki, we're going to go into our big boss lady, Yuki Onna, the absolute zero Mayakashi. I really like this card, man. I love playing this card in all of my zombie builds. Alright, and now because we have the Yuki Musune on the field, we can use it and the Daki to go into our second copies of our synchro monsters. So this is what I mean, bro. Like, if they hit you with the MAXX challenge, like, you know, sometimes, yeah, Nibiru can stop all of this if you don't have Crows Out Designate or something like that, but majority of the time, you can just easily proceed to deck him out. Okay, so right now, look, this is his last card. And now, for good measure, we're just gonna smack him up. And then he's gonna hit me with the infinite impermanence. But now, because he knows it's game over when he has to draw, so bye-bye. Another, like, thing that people do with the Mayakashi is that they would run the card, the Soul Absorbent Tower, something like that. Which this card, whenever you special summon, your opponent has to kind of mill cards off of, like, their deck, if I remember correctly. So it just makes milling your opponent that much easier. Alright, my people. Now, in this replay, we are going to go up against the almighty Swordsoul. Alright, and we're going to go second. Okay, our hand is not that bad, so he's going to activate with the Emergence, getting himself the Long Yong. Alright, he's going to normal summon the Moye, trying to get himself the level 4 token. I'm going to hit him with the Infinite Impermanence, put a stop to that. But, you know, he still has the Long Yawn, so he has his extender. So he's going to activate the Long Yawn. Okay, now he can get another token. And surprisingly, he ended up going into the Grandmaster. I thought he was going to go into, like, around the floor or something like that. So interestingly, he goes into the Grandmaster. So the Grandmaster now is going to be able to search him whatever card that he wants. So I don't want him to do that. So I'm going to hit him with the Ghost Mourner. And then the Moye is just going to allow him to search one card. But, just draw one card. So drawing is way better than searching. Alright, so now we activate Mayakashi Return, getting our Hajun. Okay, then we're going to normal summon the Hajun, getting our Daki. But our opponent is going to negate us with the Grandmaster. And that's all good, because that's what we want to do. We wanted to bait out that negate. So now we can activate 1 for 1. Getting rid of our Ash Blossom, and then we can summon the Yuki Musune. And then with the Hajun and the Yuki, we can go into our Link 2. And then since we control a Mayakashi monster, the Musume can special summon itself from the hand or graveyard. And then we're going to send the Daki to the graveyard. So now with the Daki in the graveyard, now that we link summon into a Mayakashi monster, she's going to be able to special summon herself from the graveyard. Alright, and then now we can go into our Link 4 Yuki Onna. Well, sorry, we're going to go back down to the level 2. And then now with the level 2 and the newly Daki, we can make the level 3. And then now with the level 3, we can go into our boss monster, the level 4 Yuki Onna Absolute Zero Mayakashi. Alright, then the Daki comes back. Okay, and then since the Daki activated in the graveyard, we're going to be able to target a monster, negate it, and send its attack to 0. So now we can smack the Long Yawn, and then now the Daki can smack the Grandmaster. Okay, and then we're going to set Call by the Grave and pass turn. Alright, so he's gonna start with the Ashura, special summoning itself, going into the Monk of Ghoti. Alright, then he's got Ecclesia. Ecclesia is gonna try to special summon a monster, but we got the Code by the Grave, so I'm gonna negate that. Alright, then he's got his Pot of Prosperity. They can try to dig deep into his deck. Alright, so he ends up getting the Sacred Summit. Okay, so he's gonna normal summon Moye, get himself the token. Okay, now with the token and the Moye, he's gonna go into Baxia. Alright, and then the Baxia is gonna spin back my Mayakashi, but it's all good, I'm not too worried. Okay, so now he's gonna get the Grandmaster back, and then he can spin back my Daki, which is still okay. He doesn't have lethal damage, so I'm okay. Okay, then the Ashuna is gonna banish itself, so he can summon the Vishuddha. Alright, and then now once again, because we control a Mayakashi monster, the Yuki Musune can special summon itself, and then we're gonna send the Mizuki to the graveyard. Okay, now with these two monsters, we're gonna go back into our Synchro Climbing. Alright, and then I'm just going to fast forward this part a little bit just so that we can save some time. Alright, and then after our level 11, we can go into our link line. Okay, then we're going to banish the level 3 so that we can special summon the Yoko so that we can try to pop a card. Okay, and then that's going to trigger the Grandmaster to negate, which is exactly what I wanted to do. So that now when I go into my Yukiona, he doesn't have any negate. So now when the Daki comes back, I can now negate the Grandmaster and reduce him to 0. And I'm going to activate the Mizuki to bring back my level 11 Synchro Monster. And what's great about the Yukiona is that her negating effect, you can use it twice per turn. So it's not a once per turn, you can use it twice per turn. So now since the Mizuki activated in the graveyard, bringing back my level 11, that's going to trigger the Yukiona once again. So now we can reduce the Baxia to 0. Alright, so now we can smack him for 3300, and then we can smack him for 2900 and put an end to this fool. Mayakashi. It's a fun rogue deck for sure. Alright, my people, in this final duel, we're gonna go up against Ghoti. And the reason why I chose this specific duel is because I wanted to show you guys the other effect of Yukiona that I feel maybe sometimes people forget that she has. And the second effect is a complete counter to the Ghotis, because Ghotis, they love to activate their monsters from the banish zone, and they love banishing their monsters and all of that stuff. So the Yukiona is just puts a complete stop to all of that. Okay, so we're gonna activate the return so that we can search for the Hajun. Normal summon the Hajun. Hajun's going to special summon the Daki. He's going to start banishing, so he's gonna activate the Snopios. Alright, and then the Zep is going to be able to activate, so special summoning itself from the banished pile to the field. So now he can go into some Synchro plays. Okay, so he's going to go into the Ashcan. Shout out to the homie DC Plays, man. I know he used to play this Ghoti deck a lot, so like he was a pretty good Ghoti player. He had a lot of videos and a lot of guides on the Ghoti, so if you're interested in Ghoti, I recommend that you go check out the homie DC Plays. Alright, so now we go into our Link 2. So that's going to trigger the Daki to come back. Okay, so then we're going to go into our Link 3 with the owner of the Icicle Mayakashi. Alright, and then remember, you want to link back down to the level 2. And then the Icicle Mayakashi has a special effect when she is special summoned. You can target one effect monster your opponent control, and then you can negate it. So I negated the lifeless leafish because the ash gun already activated, so I'm not worried about that. So I negated the lifeless leafish just in case if there's any little hidden effect or something like that. Alright, so we make our second Yuki Onna Ashiko Mayakashi. Alright, then the Daki's gonna come back, and then now we can make our Yuki Onna, the Absolute Zero Mayakashi. Alright, and then very quickly, if you're not familiar with this card, so let's read her real quick. You can only control one Yuki Onna, negate any activated effects of your opponent's banished monsters. So right here, this effect right here, I feel like sometimes people may forget that she has it. So you're going to negate any activated effects of your opponents that are banished. So like I said, Ghotis, they love to have monsters in their banished pile. So all of this stuff that they have right here, it's useless. It cannot activate. And then that is like the worst triple tactics draw, man. I'm drawing 2 hydras. Alright, so it's back to our opponent. Okay. So the opponent's gonna banish the Aska. He's gonna get himself the paces. Okay, then the Aska's gonna try to activate, but the Yuki Onna is going to negate. Then the paces is going to banish itself to get this super ancient Deep Sea King. Lucky for us, it's only 2800, so it cannot attack over our Yuki Onna. Okay, so all of these cards that he has in the banished pile, they're all useless. And my opponent is just going to try to activate, but nothing is going to work. Alright, so now with the Mayakashi return, we can search for our trap card. Normal summon the Hajun, special summon the Yuki Onna, the Yuki Masame. Yuki Masame can special summon itself from the graveyard. And then we're going to pitch the Mizuki to the graveyard. Okay, then now with these 2 monsters, we're going to go into our Link 2, triggering our Daki to special summon herself back from the graveyard. And then now we have more than enough for lethal damage. And now we put an end to the Ghoti. Alright my people, welcome to the decklist portion of the video. If you enjoyed the video and if you watched it all the way this far, thank you all so much. I appreciate it for you sticking out with me, hanging out with me all the way till the end of the video. And if you enjoyed the video, please remember, drop a like and consider subscribing to the channel. I'm almost at 1,000 subscribers, and it would really mean a lot to me if I can get that big 1K. It's been a goal of mine for quite some time now. So thank you all so much for who have subscribed to the channel thus far. Greatly appreciate you guys. So Mayakashi, you know, how did it perform? I played this deck starting in Platinum 1 if I remember correctly, and I was able to go from Platinum 1 all the way to Diamond 3, and that's where I stopped. So a lot of these replays took place between Platinum 1 and Diamond 3. But overall, I think this is just a little casual deck that you can build for fun if you have the UR materials, because it is also quite expensive. So if you want a competitive zombie deck, I don't think that this gonna be the most competitive zombie deck. Like I said, it can pop off, but you also have to be like an amazing pilot of this deck to be able to know when to time your interruptions during your opponent's turn. And also you do rely a lot on the trap card. So, you know, like I mentioned, I don't think this is going to be the most competitive zombie archetype out there, but it's definitely a fun archetype. And I don't know what took me so long to play this deck after having it built for such a long time. But without further ado, let's just jump real quick into the deck list. So we have 2 Effect Veilers. We have 3 Hajun. This is going to be your starter. And then the Hajun is always going to special summon the Daki. So we run 2 Daki. And the Daki, whenever you link a Mayakashi monster or you synchro summon a Mayakashi monster, she's going to be able to special summon herself back from the graveyard. Okay, then we play 3 of the Extender, Yuki Musume. So this card, if you control a Mayakashi card, then you can special summon this card from your hand or the graveyard. And if you do, then you can send 1 zombie monster from your deck to the graveyard. So that's really great to get Mizuki into the graveyard. And also sometimes if the Daki gets like banished or something like that, you can send her to the graveyard, and then whenever you link climb or synchro summon, she's going to be able to come back. And then we have 3 MAXX, of course, because you know, MAXX. Then we run in 2 Ash Blossoms, 1 Ghost Bell, and 2 Ghost Mourner. So the deck can struggle a little bit going second, so that's why I kind of wanted some strong going second hand traps. So that's why the 2 Veilers, the 2 Mourners. Alright, and then we got 2 Mizukis. And then we have like another kind of board breaker, if you will. We got 1 Nibiru. Okay, then we got 1 Harpy's Feather Duster. We have 1 1-for-1. We got 3 Mayakashi Return. So this card right here, you're always going to use it to either search for the Hajun. And if you already have the Hajun, what's really amazing about this card is that it can search you the trap card, which, as I mentioned, is a huge winning condition for this deck. Okay, then we run 2 Triple Tactics Talent, 2 Small World, and Small World is mainly to bridge into the Hajun because you really need the Hajun to start anything. Okay, then we run 1 Triple Tactics Trust, 2 Called by the Graves, 1 Cross-Out Designator, 3 Infinite Impermanence, and 3 Ghost Miss Girl, a masterful Mayakashi story. Alright, and then for the synchros, we have 2 level 3 Oburu Guruma. We have 2 of the level 5 Tsuchigumu, the poisonous Mayakashi. And then we have 2 of the level 7 Tengu, the winged Mayakashi. And then we only have 1 level 9 Yoko, the graceful Mayakashi. And we have 1 level 11 Gashadokuro, the skeletal Mayakashi. And then for our links, we have 3 of the level 2 Yuki Onna, the ice Mayakashi. And then we have 2 of the level 3 Yuki Onna, the icicle Mayakashi. And then we have 1 level 4 Yuki Onna, the absolute zero Mayakashi. And then we have 1 Underworld Goddess, which comes up almost never because another downside of this deck is that it is kind of xenophobic, where like it's going to lock you into Mayakashi only. So whenever you special summon the Daki, right here it says you can special summon this card, and then you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck the turn you activate this effect, except for Mayakashi monsters. So that's why our extra deck is mainly Mayakashi and nothing else. But yep, that's pretty much it for the deck. As I mentioned, this is just something for a little casual and fun. Unless if you're a really hardcore Mayakashi dude, then you can get this into Master 1 as well. And if you are, and if you have some replays, then I would love to see that, because yeah, I would like to see this deck, I don't know, being used in a very competitive level. But without further ado, thank you all so much. That's it for me. Kiwami Games. Peace out.